Hey everyone. In today's episode of Premier Properties, we've got a few little updates here. So as I said last week, a couple have already sold. So two of the ones I had in Geelong West are both gone, especially the dual income one. That is gone. The Newport one is also gone. The Carrington one is gone as well. And the other one I had in West Footscray is also gone. All of these went for two of them went well above where we thought they were worth. So they sold to other parties. Two of my clients actually got these, so congratulations to them. In this week's update, I've actually got a few really interesting ones to update you on. So I've got an off-market one in Seddon actually. Look, purchase price probably of around, I'd say that probably late 900s to early $1 million market, say somewhere between 980 and $1,020,000. It's right near the town centre though, really, really good location. Look, comparative market analysis in terms of rent would be probably something around, I'd say, the $750 to $780 mark. Not only that too, but if you were to get a bank valuation, I got one on CBA desktop, and it come back at 1.18. So I think there's hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity in this one, so it's a really good one. So that's one I've got. I've got another off market that's in Geelong West again. This one's a brick, veneer and tile home. Really good property in that. It is based on about nearly 400, I think it's about 476 metres squared or so. It is very, very close to the actual town centre of Geelong West. So it's right next to Packington Street. It actually happens to sit on a cul-de-sac. So those are particularly in demand. Look, you're probably purchasing this for, I'd say, $730,000 to $740,000. Rental of about $500 to $520 a week. It is a 3-bedder. It's brick, veneer and tile. Very well built home. So I think it's a good deal in that. I do then have two others that are still on market here too. One that's just popped up this week, so it's in the inner west of Melbourne as well. It's in one of the premier suburbs of Melbourne. Look, it probably needs, I'd say, about 10 to 15 grand worth of work. However, you pick it up probably for under $1 million, and it's right next to the town centre. I got a val on this at 1.12. I would probably offer pre-auction for this one. It neighbours a park, so that is very in demand for inner west suburbs, mind you, especially in terms of inner Melbourne. It would probably suit someone who either wants to move to live in, do a bit of work to, or especially a long-term investor, because you're never going to lose out on a deal like this. There's comparables in the street alone that are, $300,000-$400,000 above a couple of years ago. And this is in the early 2020s. So that just shows you the underlying value in this property alone. So, that's a good one there. That's definitely a good one I got. My dual income one in Brisbane, which is only about 3Ks from the CBD, is still available. It's a duplex, so it's on one title. It is under rented at the moment. Those are both expiring in September. So if you were to offer a longer settlement, you'd basically be right and ready to bump up the rents. You're probably picking it up for 1.25 to 1.3 in saying that. But rent wise, you could probably get 12 to 1300 a week if you were to put 10 to 15 grand into it, because it just needs a bit of a freshen up, probably a little bit of a paint. The place isn't as bad as you'd think it'd be. I'll tell you as well, for the long term, this is one of the premier suburbs that will be central to the Olympics. So it will be one of those suburbs where I'd highly suggest, if you're looking for a dual income property that you don't have to do much to do, there's some good opportunity there as well. Just for everyone's update as well, look, I do have two others that are actually available too, and they both happen to be in Newcastle. Sorry, I've been a little bit sick this week, so I hope this comes out clear. But I've got one basically that is on a double lot. It is in a suburb of Newcastle. You're probably picking this up now. Look, in terms of capital growth, it'd be in a 9 to 10% capital growth suburb. It's very, very good. The yield will be a little bit lower. It'll be around that 3.5% for the moment, although you're on a double lot, so the potential of this is, if you're a developer or someone wanting to buy something in the future, that you could, let's say, subdivide and genuinely subdivide, because it's two separate lots. This is a good opportunity for that. They're very rare in inner Newcastle, so That's one. I do have another off-market one that's actually in a suburb called, now in terms of premier properties, it wouldn't work for that, but this is a developer property or one where it's kind of sit on, set and forget, and maybe develop in the future. It's in a suburb called Cardiff, but it actually sits within a thing that the New South Wales government's called, and that's a transport orientated plan, which allows, I think it's 2.5 to 1 floor to space ratio, and this is on, I think it's about 1,117 meters squared. So you could pretty much build a unit block, a ton of townhouses on it, or whatever you want. It's actually got an existing brick veneer house on it. It's rented at the moment for I think it's 580 or so, but the comparative market will be 650. So even if it's something you want to sit on and then develop, let's say in a year or so, it'll transact for probably $1,050,000 to 1.1. But it's one where if you're a developer and wanting to use that transport orientated program to your advantage, I mean, 1,100 meters squared times 2.5 is massive. That's, like 2,300 meters or more in terms of floor to space. So you just run those numbers and you really well into, a very big development project. So that's just something to consider in that as well. So that's what I got this week anyway. I just want to say thank you to everyone as well. I've had some really nice messages from existing clients, some really good Google reviews from existing clients. And I do really appreciate everyone's kind words. I do my best to help everyone in any way, shape, form I can. And for those interested, let's say, in getting in touch with me or even sitting on the sidelines just not knowing what to do, I do offer free 30-minute consults. You can actually book me via www.compoundinvest.com.au/inquire. All details are there below in the actual description. And I just want to say thanks to everyone, and I hope I'm a bit better when I do my next video. I'll see you on the next one. Accessing premier properties is simple. First of all, go to the main page at www.compoundinvest.com.au. Once you're on this page, go to the menu item, What We Do, and you'll see a link to Premier Properties. Click the link, and from there it will ask you basically to fill in your details and sign up. So you need to put your name, phone number, and email address. Once you have done that, click Submit. Go back out of the website and then go back into Premier Properties. You will therefore then have access to Premier Properties here, by which you can see what's available, the rough capital growth and the rough rental yield of each property. If you're interested in these properties, therefore click Action where it says View More. Once you then click this, it'll show you basically the metrics. Now, to get full access to this, you will need to reach out via Inquire. From there, you will be sent a agency agreement by which we can get access to the property and ideally close the deal for you. Please reach out if any of these properties are of interest to you, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks.